F1, the movie, 2025, enters the cinematic arena with the roar of an engine and the weight of high expectations. This sports drama, rooted in the fiercely competitive world of Formula One racing, combines real-world grit with dramatic storytelling in a way few films have attempted before. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, the filmmaker behind visually striking works like Top Gun, Maverick, and Oblivion, the movie is set to push the boundaries of what motorsport cinema can achieve. It offers not only high-speed thrills, but also a layered narrative that explores mentorship, legacy, and the brutal demands of professional racing. At its core, the film tells the story of a veteran Formula One driver who returns to the track to mentor a younger, promising racer. This fictional setup is brought to life through real F1 race environments, making the film a unique hybrid of scripted drama and real-world event footage. The project attracted major industry attention due to its unprecedented access to the F1 ecosystem. For the first time in cinema history, a fictional team was allowed to operate during actual Grand Prix weekends. Using real circuits, live races, and real pit crews, the film blurs the line between fiction and documentary in a way that is both ambitious and groundbreaking. The film stars Brad Pitt as the seasoned driver, bringing his signature intensity and charisma to a role that requires both physical performance and emotional depth. Opposite him is Damson Idris, portraying the young driver whose rise is as much about personal evolution as it is about lap times. Their dynamic sets the emotional tone for the story, with themes of mentorship, sacrifice, and rediscovery weaving through the high-stakes backdrop of international competition. Real-life Formula One figures and teams make appearances, enhancing the film's realism and deepening its connection to the sport. F1, the movie has also drawn attention for its timing and cultural resonance. As Formula One experiences a global surge in popularity, particularly in the United States and Asia, this film arrives at a moment when the sport is more visible and commercially influential than ever. It captures not only the speed and glamour of F1, but also its undercurrent of danger, ego, strategy, and endurance. By spotlighting both the human and technical dimensions of racing, the film speaks to a broad audience, fans of drama, sports, and compelling human stories alike. In a cinematic landscape increasingly dominated by franchises and fantasy, F1, the movie stands out by offering something real. Its blending of cinematic drama with authentic motorsport presentation could make it a defining film for a new generation of racing enthusiasts and a compelling entry into the canon of great sports films. 2. Production background and development history. The journey of F1. The movie from concept to screen is as fascinating as the sport it portrays. The project began as a collaborative idea between director Joseph Kosinski and producer Jerry Bruckheimer, both of whom had previously worked on large-scale, high-impact action films. Kosinski, with his keen eye for immersive visuals and dynamic storytelling, expressed early interest in exploring a motorsport environment with the same cinematic weight and realism he brought to aerial combat in Top Gun, Maverick. The idea gained serious momentum when Formula One management, led by CEO Stefano Domenicali and with the backing of Liberty Media, agreed to support the film in an official capacity. The production was formally announced in 2022, and what followed was a development process unlike any other in sports cinema. One of the most innovative aspects was the creation of a fictional 11th team, which would be filmed during actual Formula One race weekends. This approach required meticulous planning, close cooperation with F1 teams, and integration into the official race paddocks without interfering with the real competition. The result was a seamless blend of staged and unscripted action, offering the filmmakers unprecedented access to the world's most prestigious racing series. Casting was another crucial phase in development. Brad Pitt was attached to the project early on, drawn by both the dramatic scope of the character and the opportunity to work in a high-performance environment. Pitt underwent racing training to perform many of his own driving sequences. He trained under professional drivers, and adapted to the unique demands of F1-style cars, using modified Formula 2 vehicles to replicate the speed and handling of real F1 machines. Damson Idris was later cast after an extensive search for a young actor who could embody both vulnerability and intensity. His character represents the new generation of drivers, adding a modern and emotionally resonant perspective to the story. Filming took place across multiple international F1 circuits, including Silverstone, Spa, Monza, and Las Vegas. The production team had to work around the live race calendar, often filming during practice sessions, between qualifying rounds, or in pre-arranged blocks before and after official events. Custom-built camera rigs were designed to capture in-car footage, bringing viewers closer to the driver's point of view than ever before. Technical consultants from F1 worked closely with the filmmakers to ensure mechanical details, team dynamics, and racing terminology were portrayed with authenticity. The director's vision was to create a film that respected the history and intricacies of Formula One while telling a universally relatable story. Kosinski emphasized realism in both the technical and emotional aspects of the production. From recreating the tension of pit strategy to capturing the isolation a driver feels inside the cockpit, every detail was crafted to immerse viewers in the world of elite racing. The production became a model of collaboration between Hollywood and a global sport, setting a new benchmark for authenticity in genre filmmaking. 3. Plot summary with contextual nuances, spoiler-free. F1. The movie follows the riveting journey of a once-celebrated Formula One driver, Sonny Hayes, who returns to the circuit after years away from the sport. Now older, wiser, and carrying the weight of past regrets, he is recruited by a struggling team to mentor their promising young driver, Joshua Pearce, a rising star known more for his raw speed than his discipline. The film opens with Sonny's reluctant return to the spotlight and gradually reveals the motivations that draw him back to the high-stakes, high-pressure world of international racing. Set against the backdrop of a fictional 11th team on the Formula One grid, the story unfolds over the course of a racing season. As Sonny takes on the dual role of driver and mentor, he must grapple with the physical demands of returning to peak performance, the emotional toll of his unresolved past, and the political maneuvering that occurs off the track. Meanwhile, Joshua's character arc runs parallel, as he struggles to balance ambition with respect, talent with maturity, and instinct with strategy. Their relationship is the core emotional thread of the narrative, tense, competitive, and ultimately transformative. The film maintains a sharp focus on character, while building tension through the rhythm of the racing calendar. The stakes escalate with each Grand Prix, not just in terms of points and podiums, but in personal growth and interpersonal dynamics. Off-track scenes delve into team strategy meetings, media interactions, and the psychological pressure of life in the public eye. There's also a subtle commentary on generational change, contrasting old-school grit with new-era confidence. Tonally, the movie walks a line between adrenaline-fueled action and thoughtful introspection. While the racing sequences are intense and visually stunning, they are interwoven with quieter moments that explore themes of legacy, redemption, and mentorship. The storytelling avoids melodrama, instead grounding its emotional beats in believable conflicts and well-developed character motivations. What makes the plot compelling is its commitment to authenticity, both in the world of F1 and in the emotional stakes that drive its characters forward. 4. Main character introductions and development. At the heart of F1, the movie is Sonny Hayes, portrayed by Brad Pitt, a former Formula One champion whose legacy has been defined as much by his victories as by the controversies that led to his early departure from the sport. Now in his 50s and long absent from the grid, Sonny is pulled back into the world he once dominated when a struggling team offers him a unique proposition, not just to drive again, but to serve as mentor to a young talent who needs more than just speed to succeed. Sonny is complex, carrying a mixture of pride, resentment, and vulnerability. His return isn't just about redemption, but also about confronting the version of himself he left behind. Damson Idris plays Joshua Pearce, the gifted but impulsive newcomer being groomed as the future of the team. Joshua's raw talent behind the wheel is unquestionable, but his lack of discipline, emotional volatility, and resistance to guidance make him both thrilling and unpredictable. Throughout the film, Joshua transforms from a self-centered prodigy into a more mature, focused competitor, thanks largely to his evolving relationship with Sonny. Their mentor-protege dynamic is at times explosive, at times tender, and always layered with mutual respect slowly earned through friction. Sonny's arc is centered on self-reflection and the reckoning with past decisions. His return to the track forces him to evaluate what winning once meant to him and what purpose it serves now. His physical training, emotional breakdowns, and rekindled connection to the racing world show a man caught between proving he still belongs and accepting the inevitability of passing the torch. His character is never one-dimensional. He's flawed, charismatic, sharp-witted, and often burdened by his own myth. Joshua's development is equally nuanced. He begins the film enamored with fame and impatient for greatness, but over time, under Sonny's rough-edged mentorship, he comes to appreciate the deeper mental and emotional discipline the sport demands. His relationship with his engineers, sponsors, and the media shifts as he learns to control his temper, value teamwork, and take responsibility not just for his performance, but for the legacy he's shaping. Together, these two characters form a powerful emotional core for the story. They are not mirror images, but reflections of what the other lacks or once had. Their bond, tested across competitive races and behind-the-scenes conflicts, is what elevates the film beyond simple sports drama. It becomes a story about second chances, mutual growth, and the complicated ways we define greatness, not just by victories, but by the lives we influence along the way. 5. Secondary characters and their impact on the story. The narrative depth of F1. The movie is significantly enriched by its supporting characters, many of whom play critical roles in shaping the journey of the protagonists. These secondary figures are not just background elements, but essential players who influence the stakes, emotional arcs, and thematic undercurrents of the film. One of the most important supporting characters is the team principal, played by Carrie Condon. She's a strategic, no-nonsense leader navigating the politics of a struggling Formula One outfit. Her character brings a commanding presence and a deeply grounded perspective to the team's internal dynamics. She serves as a stabilizing force in the often volatile environment of racing, acting as a mediator between Sonny's old-school sensibilities and Joshua's raw potential. Her leadership style is pragmatic, but not without empathy, and her behind-the-scenes decisions often tip the balance between failure and survival for the team. Also essential is the team's lead race engineer, portrayed by Tobias Menzies. His relationship with both Sonny and Joshua is filled with tension, humor, and mutual respect. He acts as a technical conscience in the film, offering insight into the machine behind the driver and emphasizing that Formula One is not just a test of talent, but a game of data, timing, and engineering perfection. His scenes offer a cerebral counterpoint to the emotional drama, showing how much of racing success depends on trust and precision between the driver and those on the pit wall. Joshua's support system includes his childhood friend and personal manager, played by Belle Powley, who helps humanize the young driver's rise to stardom. She provides glimpses into his off-track personality and the sacrifices made on his behalf. Her moments with Joshua add emotional texture to his development and offer context for his emotional highs and lows. Her presence also serves as a subtle reminder of the price of fame and the pressures young athletes face in the spotlight. Sonny's past is brought into focus through a former teammate and now rival commentator, played in a brief but powerful cameo by Javier Bardem. Their interactions are laced with unresolved tension and hard-earned respect. This character introduces themes of regret, rivalry, and the evolving definition of legacy within a highly competitive world. His role may be small in screen time, but leaves a lasting impression. Together, these secondary characters build the ecosystem around the protagonists. They help define the sport's pressures, ethical dilemmas, and interpersonal politics. More importantly, they each carry their own arcs and perspectives, which intersect meaningfully with the main story. They aren't just spectators to the lead character's transformation. They are catalysts, confidants, and challengers in a world where every decision counts. 6. Acting performances and chemistry. The performances in F1. The movie are a major highlight, elevating the film beyond the realm of typical sports drama and anchoring it in human emotion and authentic character dynamics. Brad Pitt delivers a deeply nuanced performance as Sonny Hayes, embodying a character that is equal parts world-weary veteran and quietly burning competitor. Pitt brings gravitas to the role, capturing Sonny's internal battles with subtle expressions and controlled intensity. Whether he's in the cockpit or standing silent in a garage, there's a visible weight to his presence. A man trying to reclaim something lost, or perhaps redefine it altogether. Damson Idris, as Joshua Pearce, provides the perfect counterbalance. His performance is charged with youthful energy and emotional volatility. Idris portrays Joshua's arrogance and vulnerability in equal measure, making his transformation over the course of the film both believable and emotionally rewarding. He effectively captures the frustrations and insecurities of a rising athlete struggling under the weight of expectations, while also showcasing the raw talent that makes him worth mentoring in the first place. As Joshua matures, Idris subtly shifts his posture, cadence, and gaze, showing growth that feels earned rather than scripted. The chemistry between Pitt and Idris is electric. Their on-screen relationship unfolds with tension, conflict, and eventually respect. Early scenes are filled with sharp exchanges and mutual skepticism, while later moments carry a sense of earned camaraderie. Whether trading harsh truths in a pit-lane garage or sharing a rare quiet moment before a race, their performances reflect a layered bond shaped by shared ambition and emotional bruises. The dynamic they build feels authentic, and the emotional payoff is powerful when their arcs converge. Supporting actors also bring strong contributions to the ensemble. Carrie Condon, as the team principal, is both commanding and empathetic. She has a compelling presence, often speaking volumes with a glance or a clipped phrase. Her interactions with both lead characters anchor the story in realism, and her ability to convey authority without overt dominance adds to the authenticity of the racing environment. Tobias Menzies as the race engineer brings a level of dry wit and technical sharpness to the film. His scenes, often delivered in quick bursts of dialogue over comms or in race debriefs, add a layer of urgency and precision that complements the emotional arcs of the drivers. His chemistry with both Pitt and Idris is shaped by trust, skepticism, and ultimately shared purpose. Together, the cast creates a believable world where egos clash, alliances shift, and success demands more than just speed. Their performances make the stakes feel personal, and the relationships at the film's core carry emotional weight that lingers long after the credits roll. 7. Direction, style, and filmmaker's signature. The direction of F1. The movie is unmistakably shaped by Joseph Kosinski's cinematic vision, blending high adrenaline action with emotional introspection. Known for his work on films like Tron, Legacy, and Top Gun, Maverick, Kosinski brings his signature style of sleek visual storytelling and immersive, technology-enhanced realism to the world of Formula One. What sets his direction apart is the way he balances spectacle with grounded character work, allowing both the roar of engines and the quiet moments of personal reckoning to have equal narrative weight. Kosinski's use of framing is precise and purposeful. The camera often lingers inside the cockpit during key race moments, emphasizing not just the speed and technical execution, but the emotional isolation of the driver. These close, sometimes claustrophobic shots place the audience in the helmet alongside the characters, capturing the subtle tics, quick glances at the mirrors, and tense hand movements on the steering wheel. It's a style that puts character first, even amid chaotic motion, and underscores the psychological toll of high-stakes racing. His approach to pacing is both rhythmic and intentional, The film mirrors the cadence of a racing season, building slowly, rising in intensity, and cresting with moments of drama, triumph, and heartbreak. Kosinski ensures the transitions between character-driven scenes and race sequences are smooth and cohesive, never letting the audience feel like they've stepped into a different film. This flow keeps the emotional arc intact, even when the speedometer spikes. Tonally, the film is confident in its maturity. Kosinski resists the temptation to make the story overly flashy or melodramatic. Instead, he trusts in the authenticity of the environment and the emotional truths of the characters. His direction allows scenes to breathe, letting silences speak just as powerfully as dialogue. A late-night garage conversation, a tension-filled team meeting, or a moment of reflection on the pit wall carry as much cinematic weight as a thrilling last-lap overtake. Kosinski's fingerprints are also evident in the integration of technology. Real-time footage was captured during live Formula One races using cutting-edge camera rigs, and Kosinski orchestrated this footage seamlessly with choreographed race sequences filmed during off-track windows. He pushes the technical limits of filmmaking not for novelty, but in service of realism. This method brings audiences as close to a Formula One car at 200 miles per hour as any film has ever achieved. Overall, Joseph Kosinski directs F1, the movie with precision, empathy, and respect for the subject. His experience with action and character stories finds a perfect match in this genre. The film doesn't just feel directed, it feels orchestrated, with every emotional and sensory element working in unison to deliver a story that is as personal as it is powerful. 8. Screenplay and dialogue analysis. The screenplay of F1, the movie, penned by Aaron Kruger, strikes a careful balance between kinetic momentum and emotional depth. At its core, the script is not simply about racing. It's about people who live and breathe competition, legacy, and self-worth. The writing manages to capture the intricacies of the Formula One world without overwhelming viewers unfamiliar with the sport, while still offering enough insider texture to satisfy longtime fans. The flow of the story is structured with intention. The film doesn't rush to reach the racetrack. Instead, it allows the characters to take center stage early on, laying the foundation for who they are, what they want, and what's at stake beyond podium finishes. Sonny's reluctant return and Joshua's internal battles are introduced through character-driven dialogue that feels grounded and real. Conversations are often clipped and tense, especially in the early stages of their relationship, mirroring the competitive energy and egos at play in elite-level sports. Each character has a distinct voice. Sonny speaks with a quiet, hardened confidence, marked by restraint and lived-in wisdom. His lines rarely waste words, but often carry a punch. Joshua's dialogue, on the other hand, is youthful, impulsive, and occasionally combative. As the story progresses, the shifts in their tones reflect their emotional arcs. The evolution is subtle but impactful. Sonny opens up more, allowing vulnerability to show through his normally stoic demeanor, while Joshua gradually adopts a calmer, more measured way of expressing himself. The subtext within the screenplay is handled with care. Many of the most powerful moments aren't about what's said, but what's left unsaid. In locker rooms, pit garages, and briefing rooms, tension hangs in the air. Characters exchange glances more often than speeches, and when conflicts erupt, it's because they've been simmering just beneath the surface. This kind of restraint speaks to the maturity of the script and the trust in the actors to convey what's between the lines. The dialogue is especially effective in moments of confrontation and reconciliation. Scenes between Sonny and Joshua don't rely on grand speeches or artificial emotion. Instead, they unfold naturally, with language that feels lived in and situational. When they clash, it's raw and unfiltered. When they connect, it's quiet and meaningful. Words chosen carefully, reflective of two people learning how to communicate despite being from different eras and outlooks. The script also allows space for the supporting characters to bring nuance. Exchanges with the team principal, the engineers, and the media aren't filler. They reveal how each player navigates the high-stakes world of F1. The politics, expectations, and sacrifices of the sport are never spelled out too directly, but they are constantly present in the background of the conversations, creating a sense of lived realism. Ultimately, the screenplay succeeds because it understands that the real drama of racing isn't just on the track. It's in the minds of the drivers, the strategy rooms, and the silences before the lights go out. The writing anchors the film in character, while allowing the spectacle to enhance the story, not overshadow it. 9. Cinematography and visual storytelling. The cinematography of F1. The movie is one of its most defining strengths, delivering a visceral, immersive experience that places viewers directly into the heart of the Formula One world. Directed visually by cinematographer Claudio Miranda. Known for his work on films like Life of Pi and Top Gun. Maverick. The film uses the camera not only to capture speed and spectacle, but to communicate the intense psychology of racing and the emotional weight of the characters' journeys. One of the most striking aspects of the visual storytelling is the use of in-car and on-track footage. Through the integration of practical camera rigs installed during real Formula One races, the film achieves a level of authenticity that no fictional racing film has attempted before. These shots deliver a driver's eye view, helmet cams, wheel-level close-ups, and high-speed tracking sequences that put viewers into the heat of competition. The experience is immediate, physical, and unrelenting. Every bump, swerve, and gear shift is felt, not just seen. But the film is not purely adrenaline. Miranda uses contrast and visual tone to accentuate the emotional beats of the story. Scenes off the track are filmed with a more restrained, often naturalistic palette. Garages are lit with harsh fluorescence, casting long shadows over exhausted crew members. Offices and motorhomes use muted, cool tones to underscore the political tension and personal pressure that surround the sport. This grounded realism makes the race sequences feel even more exhilarating by comparison. Color plays a meaningful role throughout the film's visual language. The vibrant reds and yellows of the cars cut through the asphalt like brushstrokes on a dark canvas, while softer hues dominate the more reflective, character-driven moments. Flashbacks are slightly desaturated, almost dreamlike, subtly differentiating past and present without relying on jarring stylistic shifts. The visual contrast between memory and immediacy strengthens the film's emotional rhythm. The shot composition is consistently thoughtful. Wide establishing shots of Grand Prix circuits, Monza, Silverstone, Suzuka, give viewers a sense of scale and geography. Close-up shots isolate the emotion on a driver's face seconds before lights out. The camera often finds characters in mirrors, through visors, or behind barriers, reinforcing the theme of isolation and the psychological divide between public performance and private thought. The use of long takes during pit stops or pre-race rituals builds tension without the need for dialogue. Lighting is another critical storytelling tool in the film. Night races shimmer with artificial brilliance, reflecting the modern spectacle of Formula One's global popularity, while overcast training days or dawn practices are presented in soft, natural light, emphasizing the grind beneath the glamour. The lighting changes subtly mirror the emotional temperature of the story. Overall, the cinematography doesn't just serve the story, it elevates it. Every frame is carefully composed to reflect the characters' inner states, the scale of their environment, and the razor-thin margins that define success and failure. F1. The movie is not just a film about racing. It's a film that feels like racing, and it owes much of that feeling to the mastery of its visual storytelling. 10. Production design, sets, and costumes. The production design of F1. The movie is both authentic and evocative, recreating the high-stakes world of Formula One with remarkable attention to detail. The sets, environments, and costumes all serve to immerse the audience fully in the culture, intensity, and spectacle of the sport. From the paddocks to the pit walls, every element of the physical world feels lived in, functional, and accurate, clearly crafted with both realism and visual storytelling in mind. The set design spans a wide variety of locations, each tailored to reflect the rhythm and lifestyle of the Formula One circuit. Team garages are tight, industrial, and full of controlled chaos, with screens flickering with telemetry, tools perfectly aligned, and crews moving with practiced choreography. The technical areas convey a clear sense of purpose and hierarchy, grounding the viewer in the daily grind that supports each race. These details don't just fill the background. They contribute to the story of constant preparation, precision, and tension. Race control rooms and engineering hubs are designed with an emphasis on surveillance and strategy. They're filled with wall-to-wall monitors, blinking status lights, and data interfaces. These elements suggest a world dominated by real-time decision-making, pressure, and the illusion of control. Meanwhile, motorhomes and press areas are shown with a contrasting sleekness, offering a polished public image while often housing private conflicts and behind-the-scenes negotiations. The film also ventures beyond the racetrack, showing personal spaces that give insight into the drivers' lives. Sonny's modest apartment, for instance, is filled with subtle relics of a past career: faded photos, dusty trophies, tools neatly stored. While Joshua's high-rise suite is cold, modern, and impersonal, reflecting his sense of isolation and the expectations bearing down on him. These set designs are not decorative. They inform the viewer about the characters without needing exposition. The costume design, too, reflects authenticity and personality. Race suits are meticulously accurate to FIA standards, with sponsor logos, team colors, and custom tailoring. They're not only practical but symbolic, representing the pressure of brand, identity, and belonging. The helmets, in particular, carry strong visual identity. Each driver's design is unique, telling a story through color and motif. Joshua's features bold lines and sharp contrasts, signifying speed and youth, while Sonny's has a more classic, stripped-back look, grounded and nostalgic. Off-track attire varies across characters and adds depth to their personas. Team members wear branded polos, tactical jackets, and headsets, reinforcing their roles and the professional hierarchy. The team principal's wardrobe blends practicality and authority, simple, fitted blazers over branded shirts, while media figures and sponsors bring the glamour and high-stakes posturing with expensive watches, sunglasses, and perfectly tailored suits. Even the small props contribute to the immersion: pit boards, tire trolleys, steering wheels with intricate controls, race maps, and technical manuals, all rendered with accuracy and used functionally during scenes. These items are not just background. They're tools of the story, grounding every moment in a reality that feels tactile and true. The overall production design is a triumph of immersion. Whether on a sunlit track in Bahrain or a rain-drenched garage in Spa, the environment always feels cohesive, specific, and lived in. F1. The movie builds a world that reflects both the glamour and grit of the sport, and it's through these meticulously designed spaces and attire that the film deepens its emotional and narrative impact. 11. Music score and soundtrack. The musical score of F1. The movie plays a crucial role in shaping the emotional and rhythmic experience of the film. Composed by Hans Zimmer, whose legendary career includes scores for Gladiator, Inception, and Interstellar, the soundtrack blends orchestral power with modern electronic textures, reflecting both the mechanical precision and the human vulnerability at the heart of Formula One racing. Zimmer's approach to the score is highly thematic. Each major character, particularly Sonny and Joshua, is given a unique musical identity. Sonny's theme is slow-burning and melancholic, often led by cello and subdued piano, evoking his sense of loss, restraint, and the weight of experience. Joshua's theme is faster, more aggressive, filled with staccato rhythms and rising synth layers that mirror his impulsive nature and emotional volatility. As the film progresses and their relationship evolves, these motifs begin to merge, building into powerful, layered compositions that reflect shared growth and tension. The score enhances the racing sequences without overpowering them. Instead of simply mimicking the roar of engines with loud, bombastic music, Zimmer crafts pieces that build suspense in real time. He uses rhythmic pulses, escalating percussion, and digital modulation that synchronize with gear shifts, tire screeches, and aerodynamic whooshes. These tracks do not distract. They pulse with the film's momentum, drawing the audience deeper into each race as tension rises and stakes escalate. One of the standout elements of the soundtrack is its use of silence. In key moments, just before a race begins, or during moments of introspection, the music pulls back, allowing ambient sounds and emotional silence to take over. When Zimmer returns with a full orchestra in moments of victory or heartbreak, the contrast is deeply felt. The restraint makes the crescendos more powerful. Beyond the score, the curated soundtrack includes contemporary rock, electronic, and international tracks that reflect the global nature of the sport. These songs are used sparingly and strategically, during travel montages, pre-race rituals, and celebratory moments, to evoke energy, location, and mood. The selections never feel out of place. Instead, they provide texture and cultural flavor without overshadowing the original compositions. Another notable technique is Zimmer's use of mechanical sounds as instruments. Engine growls, pit stop tools, and radio static are subtly woven into the background of certain pieces. This creates a layered sonic environment where the music feels organically tied to the world of racing. These elements enhance immersion and give the score a uniquely industrial signature. In emotional scenes, whether it's a character grappling with failure, reflecting on loss, or confronting another, Zimmer's work softens, shifting toward minimalism. Sparse piano keys, soft strings, and ambient synths allow viewers to connect more deeply with the character's internal struggles. The music does not tell you how to feel, it gives space for feeling. The film's closing piece is especially impactful, a swelling composition that fuses both characters' themes into a unified whole, backed by a full orchestra and subtle choral vocals. It captures not just the end of a race, but the emotional and personal journey that both protagonists have endured. Overall, the score and soundtrack are masterfully integrated. Hans Zimmer elevates the film with music that is not only technically impressive, but emotionally resonant, bringing a grand cinematic scale to a story grounded in human drama and physical intensity. 12. Sound design and effects. The sound design of F1. The movie is a critical component of its immersive power, meticulously crafted to pull viewers into the visceral world of Formula One racing. From the thundering roar of engines to the smallest mechanical click of a gear shift, the film delivers a layered and dynamic soundscape that mirrors the high-pressure atmosphere of elite motorsport. The sound team, led by supervising sound editor Richard King, renowned for his work on films like Dunkirk and Ford v Ferrari, has succeeded in creating a sonic experience that feels as real as it is cinematic. One of the standout features of the sound design is the authenticity of the racing sounds. The filmmakers collaborated closely with Formula One teams to capture actual audio from current and legacy cars. Each car has its own distinct engine note, allowing attentive viewers to identify different teams not only by visuals, but by sound alone. The power of a V6 turbo-hybrid engine screaming down a straight or downshifting into a corner is reproduced with clarity and force, creating a sensory jolt that resonates through theater seats. These sounds are not merely background, they are actively shaped to support narrative momentum. In moments of high-speed tension, the mix amplifies the rush of air, the whine of tires under duress, and the metallic rattle of braking systems. During overtakes or collisions, the sound design spikes in intensity, emphasizing the danger and split-second precision required at 200 miles per hour. The result is an adrenaline-fueled environment where the audience doesn't just watch the race, they feel it. Contrasting with the full-throttle race sequences, the film also makes deliberate use of quieter, ambient textures. In garages, there's the faint clinking of tools, murmured radio chatter, and the soft hum of computers analyzing data. These quieter soundscapes heighten the sense of focus and anticipation. In personal scenes, such as a solitary character walking the paddock or sitting in reflection, The mix dials down to allow subtle environmental sounds, footsteps, distant crowd noise, the wind across the track, to fill the space emotionally. The use of radio communication adds another layer of realism and drama. Realistic team radio exchanges, edited and written with F1 accuracy, are filtered through static and distortion, immersing viewers in the strategy and stress of each lap. These communications provide exposition and character insight without breaking the narrative flow. The tension in a team principal's voice or the exhaustion in a driver's breath mid-race often speaks louder than any dialogue. Sound effects are also used creatively to illustrate subjective experiences. For example, during moments of psychological strain, such as flashbacks or crashes, the sound design becomes abstract. Droning tones, slowed-down engine noise, and muffled crowd cheers are layered to simulate disorientation or trauma. These moments highlight the mental toll of racing and differentiate the film's storytelling from a purely external spectacle. Visual effects and sound effects are seamlessly integrated. CGI-enhanced crash sequences or tight overtaking maneuvers are underscored by sound that makes them feel tactile and physical. Skidding tires, shattering carbon fiber, or engines seizing mid-race all add a sense of consequence and realism. There is no disconnect between what is seen and what is heard, which keeps the audience grounded in the film's world. Finally, the surround sound mix plays a major role in immersion. In theater settings, the cars zip from front to back channels, mimicking their real-life motion on a circuit. Crowds cheer from all directions, and ambient track noise envelopes the viewer, replicating the experience of standing trackside at Monaco or Monza. F1. The movie's sound design is not just technically proficient, it is emotionally tuned. It understands that sound is not only about realism, but about mood, tension, rhythm, and storytelling. The work done here enhances every frame, giving the film its pulse, its roar, and its human heartbeat. 13. Themes and messages explored. F1. The movie operates on multiple thematic levels, weaving personal, professional, and philosophical ideas into its high-octane narrative. While the spectacle of racing is front and center, the film uses the world of Formula One as a mirror to explore broader themes of identity, legacy, obsession, and the human cost of greatness. These themes are not only expressed through dialogue and plot, but through the relationships between characters, visual metaphors, and the contrasting environments they inhabit. One of the film's central themes is the pursuit of perfection. Through the characters of Joshua and Sonny, the audience sees two different responses to the same pressure. One man is just starting to feel its weight, while the other has already been crushed by it. Joshua's journey is that of an ambitious young driver struggling to prove himself in an environment that demands flawless performance at every turn. He embodies the desire to win, to be the best, and to live up to the legend of his father, another former world champion whose shadow looms large. This pressure breeds recklessness, emotional volatility, and eventually self-doubt, portraying the cost of chasing perfection in a system where even second place is seen as failure. Sonny, by contrast, represents a quieter struggle. As a former driver turned engineer, he has chosen to step away from the spotlight, but the ghosts of his past continue to haunt him. His character arc explores the theme of redemption, trying to find meaning beyond lost glory. The film draws attention to the idea that stepping back can be an act of strength, not weakness. Sonny's mentorship of Joshua becomes a reflection of his internal healing, as he learns to re-engage with the sport not out of ego, but out of purpose. The theme of legacy runs through the film like a second-track parallel to the race circuit. In Formula One, history matters: names, records, team dynasties. Characters are constantly reminded of those who came before them, whether it's through Hall of Fame montages, media interviews, or the expectations of sponsors and fans. The film critiques this obsession by showing how legacy can become a burden as much as a motivator. Joshua's storyline becomes a meditation on what it means to be a successor. Does one live up to the past or carve a new path forward? The film also delves into the psychological impact of performance culture. Long nights in simulators, media scrutiny, mind games between rivals, and the ever-present danger of death behind the wheel create an environment where mental health becomes a fragile balancing act. The story does not shy away from depicting emotional breakdowns, panic attacks, and moments of isolation. In doing so, it challenges the stereotype of the unshakable sports hero, offering instead a more human, more vulnerable portrayal of athletes at their breaking point. Teamwork versus individualism is another important thematic thread. While racing appears to be a solo sport, the film reveals the countless people, engineers, strategists, mechanics, behind each win or loss. Conflicts arise when ego overrides collaboration, and key emotional beats occur when characters learn to trust, to delegate, or to admit they were wrong. The narrative reinforces the idea that greatness in motorsport is rarely achieved alone. Ambition, sacrifice, and the question of what success truly means are interrogated throughout. For some characters, winning is everything. For others, it's about surviving, evolving, or finding peace. The film never offers a simple answer. Instead, it presents a nuanced tapestry of motivations, allowing the audience to question which path they would choose. Even beyond the racing circuit, F1. The movie touches on themes of media manipulation, corporate influence, and the commercialization of sport. The story hints at deals made behind closed doors, sponsorships affecting driver selections, and the spectacle of performance often being prioritized over the spirit of competition. These critiques are subtle, but they deepen the film's commentary on the industry it portrays. At its core, F1. The movie is not just about going fast, it's about what we're running from, what we're chasing, and what we're willing to lose to get there. The film's thematic depth is what elevates it from a sports drama to a reflective, character-driven exploration of the human condition under pressure. 14. Symbolism and metaphorical elements. F1. The movie is rich with symbolic and metaphorical storytelling, using visual cues, narrative motifs, and environmental contrasts to deepen its emotional and thematic resonance. While the film maintains a grounded tone, it smartly weaves in symbolic elements that reward attentive viewers with layers of meaning beyond the literal narrative. These elements help to elevate the film from a standard sports drama to a cinematic meditation on identity, time, loss, and the fragile nature of ambition. One of the most striking symbols used throughout the film is the race track itself. More than just a setting, the circuit becomes a metaphor for life's challenges and choices. Each lap symbolizes repetition, pressure, and progression, both physical and emotional. The idea that you're always racing against the clock, against yourself, and against the legacy of others resonates deeply through both Sonny and Joshua's journeys. The track is not just a battleground for victory. It's a loop that forces them to confront their pasts and futures over and over. Helmets, prominently featured in several intimate scenes, also carry symbolic weight. They represent both protection and isolation. While necessary for safety, helmets also obscure the faces and identities of the drivers, reinforcing the idea that individuals in high-performance roles are often hidden behind their roles and expectations. A particularly poignant moment involves Joshua removing his helmet after a critical race, not in triumph but in vulnerability, exposing a face marked by fear, doubt, and exhaustion. It's a quiet gesture that speaks volumes about the toll of performance. Weather patterns are another recurring symbolic device. Clear skies often accompany scenes of clarity, momentum, or unity between characters, while dark clouds, sudden downpours, or mist signal emotional turbulence, impending conflict, or reflection. A key turning point in the film unfolds during a rainy qualifying session, where limited visibility and slick conditions mirror the inner chaos experienced by both protagonists. Rain, in this case, becomes not only a physical hazard, but a symbol of purification and emotional reckoning. Mirrors and reflections appear subtly throughout the film, particularly in locker rooms, car panels, and windows. These moments are used to underscore the characters' internal conflicts. For example, Joshua staring at his own distorted reflection in a trophy case speaks to the dissonance between public perception and personal truth. The reflective surfaces act as metaphors for introspection, forcing characters to confront the versions of themselves that they either aspire to or wish to escape. Another notable symbol is the stopwatch, often seen in Sonny's hand. More than just a tool for measuring time, it becomes a symbol of control, of the past he cannot let go of, and of the precise world he tries to manage. When he finally hands the stopwatch to Joshua before a climactic race, it represents a transfer of trust, responsibility, and the acceptance of uncertainty, letting go of control and embracing change. Cars themselves are used metaphorically as extensions of the characters. Joshua's car is temperamental, fast but difficult to control, mirroring his impulsive personality. Sonny, as an engineer, is obsessed with technical perfection and is often shown adjusting minute details, mirroring his desire to fix the emotional flaws in his own life. The film cleverly shows that just like the machines they rely on, the characters themselves are complicated constructs, vulnerable to breakdowns, misfires, and recalibrations. The contrast between sound and silence is used symbolically throughout. Loud racing sequences are followed by quiet, introspective scenes. The silence isn't empty. It's full of unspoken emotion, regrets, and realizations. In these moments, the absence of noise becomes a form of communication, a space for characters to process growth or loss. The color palette also plays a symbolic role. Joshua is often surrounded by intense reds and blues, colors associated with passion, danger, and competition, while Sonny's scenes are more subdued, dominated by grays and faded yellows, reflecting his introspective, haunted demeanor. These visual contrasts reinforce their emotional and psychological states, creating a nonverbal layer of storytelling. Even pit stops are loaded with metaphorical meaning. These brief moments of repair and recalibration echo the need for pause and reflection in life. When Joshua begins to appreciate the value of these pauses, not just in racing but in relationships and self-care, it marks a major turning point in his arc. In F1, the movie, symbolism isn't heavy-handed or overt. Instead, it flows naturally with the story, enriching the narrative and providing viewers with emotional and philosophical depth. The film invites its audience not just to watch the action unfold, but to interpret it, to find meaning in the details, and to reflect on the universal truths hiding within the world of elite motorsport. 15. Emotional impact and audience engagement. F1. The movie delivers a deeply emotional experience that goes far beyond the excitement of racing. It's a film that understands the mechanics of the human heart as much as it understands the physics of speed. Through its characters, pacing, and visual language, it crafts a journey that resonates emotionally, pulling viewers into the high-stakes world of Formula One while also inviting them to reflect on their own lives, ambitions, and relationships. From the opening sequence, the film immediately grounds its emotional tone in personal stakes rather than spectacle. It begins not on a track, but in a quiet, dimly lit garage, Joshua alone, adjusting a go-kart engine that belonged to his father. This scene sets the emotional foundation: legacy, solitude, and the weight of expectation. Viewers are drawn into his world before they ever see him in a race car. This attention to personal detail makes the emotional stakes feel intimate and authentic, setting the stage for what's to come. Throughout the film, the audience rides an emotional roller coaster that mirrors the dramatic arcs of a racing season. Moments of triumph are exhilarating. Joshua's first major qualifying win, Sonny's hesitant return to the pit wall, the team's shared victory under pressure. These highs are crafted with swelling music, kinetic editing, and moments of catharsis that feel well-earned. But equally impactful are the lows. A teammate's brutal crash, a silent confrontation between Joshua and his estranged mother, Sonny's flashback to a race that ended his driving career. These scenes are quiet, raw, and unflinching, hitting hard without melodrama. One of the film's greatest emotional achievements is its use of restraint. It never overplays its hand with sentimentality. When characters grieve, they often do so in silence or in restrained, natural ways through a stare, a gesture, a single line of dialogue. This subtlety makes the emotional moments all the more powerful, as the film trusts its audience to feel the depth without being explicitly told what to feel. A key moment of emotional resonance comes midway through the film, when Joshua discovers footage of Sonny's final race, a crash that was never fully explained. Watching it alone, Joshua begins to cry, not just for Sonny, but for the silent pain he now recognizes in someone he misunderstood. It's a turning point in their relationship and in the film's emotional narrative. That quiet understanding between mentor and protege becomes the emotional spine of the story. The film also effectively uses its racing sequences to build emotional engagement. Each race is not just a spectacle, but a character moment. How Joshua drives, aggressively, cautiously, recklessly, reflects his psychological state. In one race, he loses focus after an argument with his engineer and nearly crashes. In another, he channels his frustration into a perfect overtake. These sequences are not just thrilling, they are emotional expressions in motion, creating a deep connection between audience and character through action. Audience engagement is further sustained by the realism of the relationships. Conflicts feel earned, not forced. Sonny and Joshua argue over values and approach. Teammates clash under pressure. Family members struggle to communicate across generational divides. These relationships evolve over time, giving the audience a sense of progression that mirrors real-life growth. As viewers, we begin to root not just for race wins, but for emotional reconciliation, for a hug, a smile, an apology finally said aloud. By the third act, the emotional investment is at its peak. In the final race, as rain begins to fall and stakes reach their highest point, viewers are not simply watching for who will win the championship. They are watching for whether Joshua will find peace with himself, whether Sonny will let go of his guilt, whether the team will finally function as a family. Victory becomes secondary to closure, healing, and personal growth. After the credits roll, what lingers is not just the sound of engines or the image of a checkered flag. It's the sense of having witnessed a story about people who hurt, who strive, who forgive. The emotional impact is lasting because it is universal. You don't have to love racing to love this film. You just have to understand what it feels like to fall, to rise again, and to wonder whether you're racing towards something or running from something. F1. The movie grips the heart as tightly as it grips the wheel. It keeps audiences invested with more than spectacle. It delivers a full-throttle emotional journey that's as human as it is cinematic. 16. Pacing and narrative structure. F1. The movie exhibits a carefully considered narrative structure that balances emotional depth with high-speed intensity. The pacing is methodical rather than relentless, allowing time for both personal development and escalating tension on the racetrack. This dual rhythm, the blend of quiet introspection and adrenaline-pumping momentum, defines the film's storytelling approach and gives it a unique texture among modern sports dramas. The first act of the film is deliberately slow, laying a rich emotional foundation. It focuses on character introductions, personal histories, and internal conflicts before ever reaching a racetrack. This pacing choice allows the audience to emotionally invest in Joshua and Sonny, as well as the fractured dynamic that defines their relationship. We're given time to understand what racing means to them, not just as a profession, but as a psychological and emotional anchor. The decision to build tension gradually rather than thrusting viewers immediately into high-speed action is a strength, not a flaw. It signals that this story is about people as much as performance. As the narrative shifts into its second act, the pacing accelerates. Training montages, qualifying races, and team dynamics begin to unfold more rapidly. This section mirrors the rhythms of a racing season. Momentum builds, stakes rise, and personal challenges intensify. The screenwriters skillfully intercut racing sequences with character development moments. For example, after an exhausting race, Joshua's solitude in his trailer is contrasted with Sonny's late-night tinkering in the garage. These juxtapositions help to maintain both narrative propulsion and emotional texture. Importantly, the film avoids the pitfalls of a predictable three-act structure. Rather than adhering to standard plot points, it allows the story to breathe in places where emotions simmer or characters need space to process. There are entire scenes where nothing dramatic happens in the conventional sense. Just two people talking in a pit lane, or a father watching old footage alone. But these quiet beats are rich with subtext and personal history. They serve as emotional pit stops that recalibrate the pacing while deepening the audience's engagement. The use of flashbacks and nonlinear storytelling is another effective structural tool. These segments, mostly tied to Sonny's memories and traumas, are brief and strategically placed. They never derail the forward motion but instead add emotional weight and context to current events. One particularly effective flashback revisits a moment from Sonny's final race, giving new meaning to his reluctance to coach Joshua. This layered approach enhances the overall rhythm of the film, offering past and present in seamless interplay. Toward the climax, the pacing becomes tighter, more urgent. The final act unfolds with the intensity of a real-time event. The editing quickens, the score intensifies, and stakes become personal and professional all at once. However, even here, the film inserts breathers, moments of decision-making, reflection, or unexpected silence, that prevent it from feeling rushed. The finale never sacrifices emotional clarity for speed. When the last race finally ends, it's not just the audience catching their breath. It's the characters too, some of them facing catharsis, others lingering in unresolved complexity. One of the more subtle aspects of the film's structure is how it loops key emotional beats in different contexts. Conversations between characters mirror earlier ones, but with new understanding. Conflicts repeat but evolve. This looping effect is not just clever, it reinforces the thematic metaphor of racing itself. Going around in circles, learning on each lap, trying again with better control. Overall, the pacing of F1. The movie is mature and deliberate. It refuses to sacrifice substance for spectacle, and instead crafts a narrative arc that feels earned. The structure keeps the audience grounded even as the speed increases, maintaining coherence and clarity across emotional and narrative highs and lows. It's a film that knows exactly when to shift gears, when to accelerate, when to coast, and when to stop entirely and let the silence speak. 17. Comparison with similar films or genre peers. F1. The movie stands proudly among a lineage of motorsport-centered films, yet it carves a distinctive identity by emphasizing emotional storytelling just as much as racing spectacle. While it naturally invites comparisons to earlier classics such as Rush, 2013, Ford v Ferrari, 2019, and even Days of Thunder, 1990, it diverges from these predecessors through its grounded character study and introspective tone. Compared to Rush, which focused on the legendary rivalry between James Hunt and Niki Lauda, F1, the movie moves away from the external drama of public personas and media-fueled competition. It instead zeroes in on the internal struggle. Joshua's personal demons, his relationship with his mentor Sonny, and the psychological pressure of carrying a family legacy. Where Rush was about the thrill of the chase and personality clash, F1, the movie is about legacy, mentorship, and emotional inheritance. In relation to Ford v Ferrari, which centered on innovation, corporate politics, and the relentless pursuit of perfection in a single historic race, F1, the movie is more personal and less industrial. The earlier film dramatized the mechanics and strategy behind a car's development, whereas F1, the movie is less concerned with engineering breakthroughs and more with the cost of ambition. It places its dramatic emphasis on the people behind the wheel rather than the machines themselves. There is also a tonal difference from genre peers. Films like Driven, 2001, relied heavily on flashy editing, stylized effects, and superficial rivalries. In contrast, F1, the movie leans into realism. The race scenes are shot with a verite-style immediacy, avoiding overstylization. Dialogue is naturalistic rather than theatrical. This grounded approach places it closer to a character-driven drama than a traditional sports film, recalling more the energy of Moneyball or The Wrestler than a full-throttle blockbuster. Thematically, the film shares DNA with sports dramas that focus on redemption and mentorship, such as Creed or The Fighter. Like those films, it explores generational trauma, loss, and the transfer of wisdom from one damaged figure to another. Sonny is not just a coach or strategist. He is a man dealing with guilt and suppressed grief, much like Rocky Balboa in Creed. Joshua, similarly, isn't just a rising star. He's a young man wrestling with ghosts he doesn't fully understand. These parallels create emotional familiarity while allowing the film to develop its own path. Cinematically, F1. The movie also distinguishes itself through a visual tone that's more restrained and emotionally evocative. Where Ford v Ferrari featured sun-drenched vistas and classic Americana, F1, the movie opts for moodier lighting, colder palettes, and a tactile intimacy that brings the viewer inside the helmet, inside the garage, and inside the character's psyche. This shift in aesthetic further sets it apart from its peers. Additionally, the film contributes meaningfully to the sports drama genre by featuring a more contemporary cultural backdrop. It subtly addresses issues of mental health in high-performance environments, the burden of legacy in competitive families, and the complexity of father-son dynamics without reducing them to cliché. These nuanced takes help the film feel fresh and relevant, not merely another iteration of familiar tropes. What ultimately makes F1 the movie stand out is how it combines the heart-pounding thrill of motorsport with an almost meditative character portrait. It proves that you can have speed without sacrificing soul, that the roar of the engine can coexist with the quiet turmoil of human emotion. It is not the loudest film in its genre, but perhaps it is one of the most thoughtful. 18. Cultural and social relevance. F1. The movie offers more than just entertainment or an inside look at the high-octane world of Formula One. It subtly engages with cultural and social conversations that are relevant to contemporary audiences. Through its characters, conflicts, and emotional undercurrents, the film reflects broader societal themes such as generational trauma, the pressure of legacy, mental health in elite performance spaces, and the evolving cultural landscape of sports itself. One of the most resonant cultural threads woven into the film is the burden of generational expectations. Joshua, the protagonist, inherits not only a name but a shadow. His journey is shaped by the legacy of his late father, who was once a respected driver. This setup mirrors real-world pressures faced by children of high achievers, particularly in competitive fields like sports, entertainment, and business. The film explores how legacy can become both a source of inspiration and an invisible weight, shaping identity and decision-making in ways that are not always healthy or fair. This resonates with modern audiences, especially younger viewers navigating familial pressures in a rapidly changing world. The film also addresses mental health in subtle, yet meaningful ways. Joshua's character is often silent, inwardly coiled, and emotionally volatile. Not due to arrogance, but because of the immense psychological toll of his circumstances. Sonny, his mentor, also carries emotional scars from a traumatic incident in his past. Neither man openly discusses their struggles in dramatic monologues, but their pain is present in how they train, how they argue, and how they avoid certain subjects. This silent suffering is a realistic portrayal of how men, particularly in high-stakes environments like sports or leadership roles, often internalize mental health issues. The film quietly critiques this stoicism and shows, through its character arcs, the value of emotional vulnerability and healing. On a broader level, F1, the movie indirectly comments on the cultural dynamics within motorsport. Traditionally seen as an elite and largely homogeneous sport, Formula One has in recent years been challenged to confront its lack of diversity and accessibility. While the film does not overtly make this its mission, it reflects progress through its casting and subtle storytelling choices. Supporting characters include team members from diverse backgrounds, and there is a palpable shift in tone compared to earlier racing films that focused almost exclusively on white, male, European protagonists. By normalizing this diversity, rather than making it the central plot point, the film mirrors the quiet but growing transformation happening in real-life racing circuits. There is also a commentary on the commodification of athletes. Throughout the film, Joshua is treated at times less like a human being and more like a product, by sponsors, the media, and even members of his team. The film portrays press obligations, brand appearances, and intrusive interviews that pry into his private life, drawing attention to the uncomfortable overlap between performance and profit. This echoes wider concerns in modern sports culture, where athletes are expected to be ambassadors, influencers, and public figures in addition to excelling at their craft. Another relevant theme is the evolving nature of masculinity. Both Joshua and Sonny challenge traditional masculine tropes. Joshua is physically skilled, but emotionally sensitive. Sonny, once a fierce competitor, is now introspective, haunted, and hesitant. Their relationship evolves not through bravado or aggression, but through moments of honesty and emotional connection. This portrayal contributes to ongoing cultural discussions around vulnerability, mentorship, and what it means to be strong in today's world. The film also speaks to universal societal anxieties about purpose and meaning. Both central characters are at crossroads. Joshua must decide whether he's racing for himself or for someone else's dream, while Sonny must confront the fear that his best years are behind him. These internal dilemmas echo broader cultural conversations about identity, self-worth, and reinvention in a fast-paced, image-driven society. F1. The movie may not present itself as overtly political or ideological, but its cultural and social relevance is embedded in its themes and characters. It reflects the human condition within a specific yet symbolic environment, the racetrack. The film uses this world as a lens to explore timeless and timely issues alike, making it resonate with a wide spectrum of viewers regardless of whether they're fans of motorsport. 19. Technical aspects and innovation. F1. The movie excels not only in storytelling and character depth, but also in its impressive array of technical achievements. From immersive camera work to the seamless integration of practical and digital effects, the film represents a significant step forward in the cinematic portrayal of motorsport. Every technical choice seems motivated not only by spectacle, but by storytelling intent, ensuring that the innovations serve emotion as much as excitement. Perhaps the most groundbreaking aspect of the film is its approach to cinematography, especially in the way it captures speed. The filmmakers employed custom-built helmet-mounted cameras that offer a driver's eye perspective, placing viewers directly inside the cockpit during races. These shots don't just convey motion, they simulate tension, claustrophobia, focus, and adrenaline. The audience feels every lurch, curve, and near collision as if they were behind the wheel themselves. Unlike typical racing films that use sweeping overhead shots or distant camera placements, F1. The movie prioritizes immediacy and intimacy, redefining how racing is visually experienced on screen. Another notable technical achievement lies in the film's use of practical effects, particularly for on-track sequences. Rather than relying exclusively on CGI, many of the race scenes were filmed with real cars on closed circuits, with professional stunt drivers and high-speed camera rigs capturing the action in real time. This approach lends the racing sequences a visceral realism. The film's production team collaborated closely with real Formula One engineers and consultants to ensure that everything from the car movements to the pit stop choreography felt authentic. The CGI that is used, primarily for enhancing backgrounds, filling out crowded racetracks, and executing a few high-stakes stunts, is almost invisible. The digital effects blend so seamlessly with the practical footage that the audience rarely questions what's real and what isn't. This balance between real-world racing and digital enhancement reflects a new maturity in how sports films can utilize modern technology without becoming overly artificial. Sound design is another technical pillar of the film. The roar of engines, the screech of tires, the soft ticking of a cooling car engine after a race. Every sound is meticulously crafted to contribute to the mood and realism. The mix often shifts depending on the emotional state of the characters. In moments of extreme focus, the sound narrows to emphasize the hum of the engine and the driver's breathing. In scenes of panic or emotional overload, the soundscape becomes disorienting, even overwhelming. This dynamic use of sound creates an immersive psychological atmosphere that matches the high-stakes world on screen. The editing is equally innovative. The film avoids rapid-fire cutting for its own sake, and instead uses rhythm to reflect character emotion and narrative tempo. During races, the editing is sharp and fluid, accelerating during overtakes or close calls, then slowing to lingering shots during moments of internal reflection. This allows the film to maintain both visual coherence and dramatic impact, a rare balance in action-heavy sequences. Color grading and lighting also play a vital role in shaping the film's aesthetic. Cooler tones dominate scenes of solitude, doubt, or conflict, while warmer lighting is used for memory sequences and emotionally charged confrontations. During key races, the visual palette sharpens, colors become more saturated, light flares accentuate the glare of the sun on the track, and shadows deepen. This dynamic use of color and light helps convey emotional transitions and thematic contrasts. One subtle but significant innovation is the film's use of telemetry graphics. Rather than inserting data and statistics as intrusive overlays, the film integrates them into the narrative in a naturalistic way. Screens within the cars, pit crew monitors, and race broadcasts show real-time data that is visually intuitive for viewers, even those unfamiliar with racing. This enhances both realism and storytelling clarity. Additionally, the sound mixing in theaters was designed to mimic the acoustics of a raceway. The filmmakers consulted with audio engineers to shape a surround sound experience where the rumble of engines travels across the space, simulating cars whizzing by or engines screaming from behind. In premium theater formats, this creates a breathtakingly immersive experience. Overall, F1. The movie uses technical innovation not as a gimmick, but as a tool to enhance emotion, narrative depth, and realism. It sets a new standard for sports cinema by showing that technological advancements can elevate a story rather than distract from it. From cinematography to sound, editing to effects, the film is a masterclass in using craft to amplify the human experience behind the spectacle. 20. Personal opinion, criticism, and final verdict. F1. The movie is an ambitious and emotionally charged entry into the sports drama genre, one that succeeds not just by capturing the thrill of racing, but by digging deep into the personal struggles of its central characters. As a cinematic experience, it manages to balance adrenaline-pumping sequences with moments of real human vulnerability, a feat that many action or sports films attempt, but rarely achieve with such grace. One of the film's greatest strengths is its character-driven narrative. Joshua's arc is complex, believable, and emotionally resonant. His journey from a young, uncertain talent to someone reckoning with legacy, trauma, and responsibility is portrayed with great subtlety. Likewise, Sonny's character, once a man of fire, now smoldering with buried guilt, adds a layer of quiet intensity that anchors the film. The chemistry between the two leads is magnetic and compelling, allowing their mentor-mentee dynamic to feel authentic and moving. Technically, the film is a marvel. The cinematography stands out with its immersive point-of-view shots and practical race sequences, offering one of the most visceral depictions of speed and precision in recent memory. The sound design deserves special praise for its ability to place viewers not just beside the track, but inside the mind of the driver. It's an extraordinary example of how technical excellence can deepen a viewer's emotional connection to the story. The pacing is deliberate in the first act, focused more on character groundwork than spectacle, which may test the patience of audiences expecting a fast-paced sports film from the outset. However, this slower build pays off in the second and third acts, where emotional stakes and racing action align perfectly. Some viewers might also find the emotional tone of the film surprisingly heavy for a movie about Formula One, but this depth is exactly what distinguishes it from more formulaic entries in the genre. There are a few minor criticisms. While the film does an admirable job showcasing diversity and modernizing the cultural landscape of motorsport, it could have pushed further in terms of giving more screen time and development to some of its supporting characters, particularly the women on the team. A subplot involving a team strategist begins with promise, but fades into the background in favor of the central male conflict. This choice slightly limits the scope of what could have been a richer ensemble story. Additionally, the climax, while emotionally satisfying, plays it slightly safe in terms of narrative risk. It doesn't resort to cliches, but it doesn't entirely subvert expectations either. This isn't a flaw per se, but viewers hoping for a bold, unconventional twist may find the resolution a bit familiar. Despite these small shortcomings, F1, the movie ultimately delivers a powerful and memorable cinematic experience. It's not just a movie for racing fans. It's for anyone who's ever felt the pressure of living up to someone else's dreams, anyone who's carried the weight of unresolved grief, and anyone who's had to find their own path in the shadows of giants. The film's emotional intelligence, technical craftsmanship, and restrained but impactful storytelling elevate it well above the standard sports movie fare. In final verdict, F1, the movie is a triumph of tone, performance, and technical execution. It combines the physical intensity of racing with the psychological depth of character drama in a way that feels refreshing and emotionally rewarding. It's a must-watch not only for Formula One fans, but for those who appreciate stories that push beyond the obvious to reveal the fragile humanity beneath ambition and success. 21. Recap of key points covered. In this review, we've explored F1, the movie from multiple angles to provide a comprehensive understanding of its many layers. Starting with the plot, we saw how the film weaves a story about legacy, ambition, and emotional struggle, centered around Joshua, a young driver stepping into his late father's shadow. The spoiler-free summary highlighted the balance between high-speed racing action and deeply personal character moments. We examined the main characters in detail, focusing on Joshua's complex motivations and Sonny's haunted mentorship, and how the actors brought these roles to life with nuance and authenticity. The supporting characters, while less prominent, were discussed for their contributions to the overall narrative and thematic richness, even if some deserved more screen time. The acting performances received high praise, particularly for the chemistry between the lead actors, whose emotional connection elevated the film beyond typical sports dramas. The direction was noted for its deliberate pacing, thoughtful framing, and the way it combined spectacle with intimate character storytelling. The filmmaker's signature style of immersive, grounded storytelling helped anchor the movie in realism, while still delivering cinematic thrills. The screenplay and dialogue were reviewed as authentic and engaging, with character voices that felt distinct and natural. Visual storytelling was analyzed through the film's impressive cinematography, which included innovative helmet cam shots and dynamic race sequences that brought the excitement of Formula One racing vividly to the screen. Production design, sets, and costumes were praised for creating an immersive and believable world that supports the story's themes, while the music score and sound design were recognized as crucial elements that heighten emotional beats and build tension throughout the film. We also discussed the core themes and messages the film explores, such as legacy, mental health, and evolving masculinity, alongside symbolism and metaphorical elements that add depth. The emotional impact of the film was highlighted, showing how it connects with audiences on an intimate level. Pacing and narrative structure were considered effective, gradually building tension and balancing action with character development. Comparisons with other films in the genre helped situate F1, the movie as a unique and modern take on sports dramas. Cultural and social relevance were examined, noting how the film subtly engages with issues like diversity, mental health, and the pressures of public life in sport. The technical aspects and innovations, from camera techniques to sound design, were detailed as major strengths that elevate the movie. Finally, a personal review emphasized the film's emotional intelligence, technical excellence, and thoughtful storytelling, while also acknowledging minor areas where the film could have been bolder or more inclusive. This comprehensive look reveals F1, the movie as a multifaceted film that excels not just in entertainment, but in delivering meaningful, timely reflections on human experience within the high-stakes world of Formula One. 22. Highlight most memorable moments of the film. F1. The movie is filled with moments that linger long after the credits roll, and several scenes stand out for their emotional power, visual brilliance, or narrative significance. One of the most unforgettable sequences is the opening race scene, where the film plunges the audience straight into the intense world of Formula One. The use of helmet cam footage combined with sweeping wide shots creates an exhilarating experience that captures the speed, danger, and precision of professional racing. This sequence sets the tone for the entire film and hooks viewers immediately. Another standout moment comes during a quieter scene between Joshua and Sonny, where the emotional weight of their fractured relationship is laid bare. The subtle performances by the actors, combined with restrained dialogue and close-up shots, make this confrontation feel deeply personal and real. It is a pivotal scene that reveals the stakes beneath the racing spectacle, the human cost and emotional baggage that drive the characters. The pit stop sequence is also a highlight, showcasing the meticulous choreography, tension, and teamwork required in a fraction of a second. Filmed with dynamic camera angles and real-time pacing, this scene gives the audience a newfound appreciation for the complexity and precision of Formula One beyond the race itself. A later scene where Joshua faces a critical decision on the track stands out for its suspense and character insight. The way the film slows time, focuses on his internal struggle, and uses sound design to amplify the moment's gravity makes it both a thrilling and deeply emotional point in the narrative. Visually, the film's use of lighting and color during the final race conveys a sense of culmination and transformation. The shift from colder tones to warmer hues reflects Joshua's emotional journey and provides a satisfying closure visually as well as narratively. The pacing is deliberate in the first act, focused more on character groundwork than spectacle, which may test the patience of audiences expecting a fast-paced sports film from the outset. However, This slower build pays off in the second and third acts, where emotional stakes and racing action align perfectly. Some viewers might also find the emotional tone of the film surprisingly heavy for a movie about Formula One. But this depth is exactly what distinguishes it from more formulaic entries in the genre. There are a few minor criticisms. While the film does an admirable job showcasing diversity and modernizing the cultural landscape of motorsport, it could have pushed further in terms of giving more screen time and development to some of its supporting characters, particularly the women on the team. A subplot involving a team strategist begins with promise, but fades into the background in favor of the central male conflict. This choice slightly limits the scope of what could have been a richer ensemble story. Additionally, the climax, while emotionally satisfying, plays it slightly safe in terms of narrative risk. It doesn't resort to cliches, but it doesn't entirely subvert expectations either. This isn't a flaw per se, but viewers hoping for a bold, unconventional twist may find the resolution a bit familiar. Despite these small shortcomings, F1, the movie ultimately delivers a powerful and memorable cinematic experience. It's not just a movie for racing fans. It's for anyone who's ever felt the pressure of living up to someone else's dreams, anyone who's carried the weight of unresolved grief, and anyone who's had to find their own path in the shadows of giants. The film's emotional intelligence, technical craftsmanship, and restrained but impactful storytelling elevate it well above the standard sports movie fare. In final verdict, F1, the movie is a triumph of tone, performance, and technical execution. It combines the physical intensity of racing with the psychological depth of character drama in a way that feels refreshing and emotionally rewarding. It's a must-watch not only for Formula One fans, but for those who appreciate stories that push beyond the obvious to reveal the fragile humanity beneath ambition and success. 21. Recap of key points covered. In this review, we've explored F1, the movie from multiple angles to provide a comprehensive understanding of its many layers. Starting with the plot, we saw how the film weaves a story about legacy, ambition, and emotional struggle, centered around Joshua, a young driver stepping into his late father's shadow. The spoiler-free summary highlighted the balance between high-speed racing action and deeply personal character moments. We examined the main characters in detail, focusing on Joshua's complex motivations and Sonny's haunted mentorship, and how the actors brought these roles to life with nuance and authenticity. The supporting characters, while less prominent, were discussed for their contributions to the overall narrative and thematic richness, even if some deserved more screen time. The acting performances received high praise, particularly for the chemistry between the lead actors, whose emotional connection elevated the film beyond typical sports dramas. The direction was noted for its deliberate pacing, thoughtful framing, and the way it combined spectacle with intimate character storytelling. The filmmaker's signature style of immersive, grounded storytelling helped anchor the movie in realism while still delivering cinematic thrills. The screenplay and dialogue were reviewed as authentic and engaging, with character voices that felt distinct and natural. Visual storytelling was analyzed through the film's impressive cinematography, which included innovative helmet cam shots and dynamic race sequences that brought the excitement of Formula One racing vividly to the screen. Production design, sets, and costumes were praised for creating an immersive and believable world that supports the story's themes, while the music score and sound design were recognized as crucial elements that heighten emotional beats and build tension throughout the film. We also discussed the core themes and messages the film explores, such as legacy, mental health, and evolving masculinity, alongside symbolism and metaphorical elements that add depth. The emotional impact of the film was highlighted, showing how it connects with audiences on an intimate level. Pacing and narrative structure were considered effective, gradually building tension and balancing action with character development. Comparisons with other films in the genre helped situate F1, the movie as a unique and modern take on sports dramas. Cultural and social relevance were examined, noting how the film subtly engages with issues like diversity, mental health, and the pressures of public life in sport. The technical aspects and innovations, from camera techniques to sound design, were detailed as major strengths that elevate the movie. Finally, a personal review emphasized the film's emotional intelligence, technical excellence, and thoughtful storytelling, while also acknowledging minor areas where the film could have been bolder or more inclusive. This comprehensive look reveals F1, the movie as a multifaceted film that excels not just in entertainment, but in delivering meaningful, timely reflections on human experience within the high-stakes world of Formula One. 22. Highlight most memorable moments of the film. F1. The movie is filled with moments that linger long after the credits roll, and several scenes stand out for their emotional power, visual brilliance, or narrative significance. One of the most unforgettable sequences is the opening race scene, where the film plunges the audience straight into the intense world of Formula One. The use of helmet cam footage combined with sweeping wide shots creates an exhilarating experience that captures the speed, danger, and precision of professional racing. This sequence sets the tone for the entire film and hooks viewers immediately. Another standout moment comes during a quieter scene between Joshua and Sonny, where the emotional weight of their fractured relationship is laid bare. The subtle performances by the actors, combined with restrained dialogue and close-up shots, make this confrontation feel deeply personal and real. It is a pivotal scene that reveals the stakes beneath the racing spectacle, the human cost and emotional baggage that drive the characters. The pit stop sequence is also a highlight, showcasing the meticulous choreography, tension, and teamwork required in a fraction of a second. Filmed with dynamic camera angles and real-time pacing, this scene gives the audience a newfound appreciation for the complexity and precision of Formula One beyond the race itself. A later scene where Joshua faces a critical decision on the track stands out for its suspense and character insight. The way the film slows time, focuses on his internal struggle, and uses sound design to amplify the moment's gravity makes it both a thrilling and deeply emotional point in the narrative. Visually, the film's use of lighting and color during the final race conveys a sense of culmination and transformation. The shift from colder tones to warmer hues reflects Joshua's emotional journey and provides a satisfying closure visually as well as narratively. These moments, among others, define the film's identity, a blend of high-octane action, intimate character drama, and technical mastery. They resonate because they balance spectacle with heart, thrilling the senses while engaging the emotions. These standout scenes are what make F1, the movie, memorable and deserving of close attention from both racing fans and cinephiles alike. 23. Audience takeaway and who should watch. F1. The movie offers a compelling experience that can appeal to a wide range of viewers, each finding something meaningful and engaging based on their preferences and interests. For motorsport enthusiasts and Formula One fans, the film is a must-watch. It delivers an authentic portrayal of the sport, with carefully researched details about racing strategy, technical elements, and the high-pressure world of professional drivers. The immersive racing sequences and realistic depiction of the sport's inner workings provide a fresh, visceral insight that fans will appreciate. Casual moviegoers looking for a dramatic, emotionally resonant story will also find much to enjoy. The film's focus on character development, themes of legacy, grief, and personal growth ensures that it transcends the typical sports movie formula. Its narrative is accessible and engaging, with well-drawn characters whose struggles and triumphs are universally relatable, even to those unfamiliar with racing. For fans of character-driven dramas, F1. The movie offers richly layered performances and a complex emotional core. The nuanced exploration of father-son relationships, mentorship, and mental health challenges gives the film depth and a human touch. Viewers who appreciate films that balance intense action with introspective storytelling will find this movie particularly rewarding. Additionally, cinephiles and those interested in filmmaking craft will appreciate the technical mastery evident throughout the film. From innovative cinematography and sound design to the use of practical effects and dynamic editing, the movie serves as an excellent case study in blending technology with narrative to create an immersive cinematic experience. Younger audiences and aspiring athletes may find inspiration in the story's themes of perseverance, ambition, and overcoming self-doubt. The movie's honest depiction of the pressures faced by young professionals in high-stakes environments can resonate with anyone pursuing challenging goals. In summary, F1. The movie is suitable for a broad audience. Racing fans seeking realism and excitement, drama lovers drawn to emotional depth, cinephiles interested in film craft, and viewers inspired by stories of growth and resilience. Its multifaceted approach means there is something for almost everyone, making it a versatile and compelling film to recommend. 24. Final thoughts on the movie's impact and legacy. F1. The movie holds the potential to make a lasting impact both within the sports film genre and in broader cinematic culture. Its focus on the emotional and psychological dimensions of Formula One racing represents a significant evolution from the typical adrenaline-driven narratives. By centering the story on complex characters grappling with legacy, loss, and identity, the film elevates the genre, showing that sports movies can be as much about human drama as they are about competition and spectacle. The director's vision and the film's technical achievements may influence future filmmakers to approach sports stories with similar depth and innovation. The creative use of immersive camera techniques, realistic sound design, and practical racing effects sets a new benchmark for authenticity in sports cinema. This could inspire other filmmakers to invest more in blending technical realism with emotional storytelling to engage audiences on multiple levels. In terms of cultural impact, the film's subtle engagement with themes like mental health, diversity, and the evolving role of masculinity in high-pressure environments reflects contemporary social conversations. This relevance may help the movie resonate beyond traditional sports audiences and encourage more inclusive narratives within the genre. For the director, F1, the movie could represent a defining work that cements their reputation for thoughtful, immersive filmmaking. The success of this project may open doors for more ambitious, character-driven sports dramas and collaborations with high-profile talent. The film also has the potential to inspire a new generation of viewers and athletes by portraying the realities behind the glamour and speed of Formula One. It humanizes the sport, making the struggles and achievements of its characters relatable and inspiring. While it may not radically change the cinematic landscape overnight, F1, the movie contributes meaningfully to ongoing trends in film where genre boundaries blur and emotional authenticity is prioritized. Its legacy will likely be that of a film that expanded what a sports drama can be and set a new standard for storytelling within a highly technical and competitive world. 25. Closing with engagement call to action. Thank you for joining me in this in-depth review of F1, the movie. I hope this breakdown gave you a clearer picture of what makes the film such a compelling and unique addition to the sports drama genre. Whether you're a fan of Formula One, someone who loves character-driven stories, or just looking for a movie that blends thrilling action with emotional depth, this film has something special to offer. If you've seen the movie, I'd love to hear your thoughts and favorite moments in the comments below. Did the film resonate with you the way it did for me? Were there any scenes or performances that stood out? Your opinions really help create a vibrant discussion, so please don't hesitate to share. If you enjoyed this review, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more detailed reviews and movie content. I have plenty of upcoming reviews lined up, covering a variety of genres and new releases, so stay tuned. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of the latest videos. Also, if there's a movie you'd like me to review or a topic you want me to explore, drop a suggestion in the comments or reach out on social media. I'm always eager to hear what you want to see next. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, enjoy the movies and keep sharing your passion for film. These moments, among others, define the film's identity, a blend of high-octane action, intimate character drama, and technical mastery. They resonate because they balance spectacle with heart, thrilling the senses while engaging the emotions. These standout scenes are what make F1, the movie, memorable and deserving of close attention from both racing fans and cinephiles alike. 23. Audience takeaway and who should watch. F1. The movie offers a compelling experience that can appeal to a wide range of viewers, each finding something meaningful and engaging based on their preferences and interests. For motorsport enthusiasts and Formula One fans, the film is a must-watch. It delivers an authentic portrayal of the sport, with carefully researched details about racing strategy, technical elements, and the high-pressure world of professional drivers. The immersive racing sequences and realistic depiction of the sport's inner workings provide a fresh, visceral insight that fans will appreciate. Casual moviegoers looking for a dramatic, emotionally resonant story will also find much to enjoy. The film's focus on character development, themes of legacy, grief, and personal growth ensures that it transcends the typical sports movie formula. Its narrative is accessible and engaging, with well-drawn characters whose struggles and triumphs are universally relatable, even to those unfamiliar with racing. For fans of character-driven dramas, F1. The movie offers richly layered performances and a complex emotional core. The nuanced exploration of father-son relationships, mentorship, and mental health challenges gives the film depth and a human touch. Viewers who appreciate films that balance intense action with introspective storytelling will find this movie particularly rewarding. Additionally, cinephiles and those interested in filmmaking craft will appreciate the technical mastery evident throughout the film. From innovative cinematography and sound design to the use of practical effects and dynamic editing, the movie serves as an excellent case study in blending technology with narrative to create an immersive cinematic experience. Younger audiences and aspiring athletes may find inspiration in the story's themes of perseverance, ambition, and overcoming self-doubt. The movie's honest depiction of the pressures faced by young professionals in high-stakes environments can resonate with anyone pursuing challenging goals. In summary, F1. The movie is suitable for a broad audience. Racing fans seeking realism and excitement, drama lovers drawn to emotional depth, cinephiles interested in film craft, and viewers inspired by stories of growth and resilience. Its multifaceted approach means there is something for almost everyone, making it a versatile and compelling film to recommend. 24. Final thoughts on the movie's impact and legacy. F1. The movie holds the potential to make a lasting impact both within the sports film genre and in broader cinematic culture. Its focus on the emotional and psychological dimensions of Formula One racing represents a significant evolution from the typical adrenaline-driven narratives. By centering the story on complex characters grappling with legacy, loss, and identity, the film elevates the genre, showing that sports movies can be as much about human drama as they are about competition and spectacle. The director's vision and the film's technical achievements may influence future filmmakers to approach sports stories with similar depth and innovation. The creative use of immersive camera techniques, realistic sound design, and practical racing effects sets a new benchmark for authenticity in sports cinema. This could inspire other filmmakers to invest more in blending technical realism with emotional storytelling to engage audiences on multiple levels. In terms of cultural impact, the film's subtle engagement with themes like mental health, diversity, and the evolving role of masculinity in high-pressure environments reflects contemporary social conversations. This relevance may help the movie resonate beyond traditional sports audiences and encourage more inclusive narratives within the genre. For the director, F1, the movie could represent a defining work that cements their reputation for thoughtful, immersive filmmaking. The success of this project may open doors for more ambitious, character-driven sports dramas and collaborations with high-profile talent. The film also has the potential to inspire a new generation of viewers and athletes by portraying the realities behind the glamour and speed of Formula One. It humanizes the sport, making the struggles and achievements of its characters relatable and inspiring. While it may not radically change the cinematic landscape overnight, F1, the movie contributes meaningfully to ongoing trends in film where genre boundaries blur and emotional authenticity is prioritized. Its legacy will likely be that of a film that expanded what a sports drama can be and set a new standard for storytelling within a highly technical and competitive world. 25. Closing with engagement call to action. Thank you for joining me in this in-depth review of F1, the movie. I hope this breakdown gave you a clearer picture of what makes the film such a compelling and unique addition to the sports drama genre. Whether you're a fan of Formula One, someone who loves character-driven stories, or just looking for a movie that blends thrilling action with emotional depth, this film has something special to offer. If you've seen the movie, I'd love to hear your thoughts and favorite moments in the comments below. Did the film resonate with you the way it did for me? Were there any scenes or performances that stood out? Your opinions really help create a vibrant discussion, so please don't hesitate to share. If you enjoyed this review, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more detailed reviews and movie content. I have plenty of upcoming reviews lined up, covering a variety of genres and new releases, so stay tuned. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of the latest videos. Also, if there's a movie you'd like me to review or a topic you want me to explore, drop a suggestion in the comments or reach out on social media. I'm always eager to hear what you want to see next. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, enjoy the movies and keep sharing your passion for film.